Okay, so first of all, we're going to work on a zoom in feature, and I will give props to this dude right here, whoever wrote this tutorial for zooming out and keeping a HUD in the same size, because that's basically the concepts that I used. So let's go over to the GameSalad, and the request that I had was zoom in on a certain brick here at the top. Whatever the last one is that got shot, zoom in on it. So just to give you a quick look what it looks like as I shoot whatever's the last one. I shoot it, instead of destroying for a moment, it'll zoom in and I'm assuming play some sort of animation. All right, and it doesn't matter if it's on one side or the other. I've ran it several times, and even if I leave one of the very end ones to be the one to shoot, it'll still zoom in, okay? Put it right in dead center, and it'll do that one last. Okay, so I hope this is what we were looking for, so let's show you what we did. First of all, in each brick, I have a myX and a myY, which are just reals. So those are two attributes that I've added. And then in the game attributes, I've added a zoom, which is a Boolean. Number of blocks should already be there in your program if you're already doing something like that. And I've added a CamX and a CamY, which are reals. So those are the extra attributes that I've used to this point in time. Let's look at the brick stuff for a moment. Basically saying if it gets hit by a projectile, if the number, I've got what's called a nested conditional here. If the number of blocks is greater than 1, just subtract 1 from the number of blocks and destroy this actor. However, if we're down to our last block, when it gets hit, set game zoom to true. All right. If game zoom is true, then what are we going to do? We're going to, first of all, we're going to set, let me go back, look real quick here. Notice off the very beginning, I set self myx to self position x, and I set self my to self position y right off the get go. All right, so each one of those actors self myx follows its position. It knows exactly where its x and where its y position is. If game zoom in is true, then I set CamX equal to the self myx of whatever brick is left. So that camera knows exactly which coordinates of whichever brick is left. So it sets game attribute CamX equal to self myx, or game camera y equal to self my y. So again, that zooms the camera in on whichever the remaining brick is left. And then I created another actor here called zoom, and I just set it over to the side. It's invisible, so I have to hit it. Interestingly enough, to get to this camera functions, you had to unlock the instance. So I unlocked the instance. There is no prototype coding. And I said, if game zoom is true, then interpolate camera size width to, now this 240 on mine, but whatever screen size you're using, this is just half of my screen size. I guess I could have put screen size divided by 2. Same thing here, interpolate camera size height to screen size divided by 2, which in my case was 160. And then I interpolated the scene camera origin to game cam X minus half of that. So since this was 240 up here, this became 120. Interpolate game size origin Y to, again, since this is 160, the game camera Y to half of that. Instead of half of 160 is 80. Okay. So again, these could have said, I suppose, if zoom is true, interpolate camera size width to game display size divided by 2. Camera size height, the game display height divided by 2. This would have been scene camera origin to game.camx minus, and if you wanted to, game display width divided by 4, and this would have been cam y minus game display height divided by 4, but I just went ahead and put in the numbers. All right, and this is what will make you zoom in on anything, being the very last thing. After that, I just interpolated some color just so we'd have it do something. Thanks.